Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we are working on the So Scrappy hoodie and also top. It is an amazing pattern. It's got so many choices, so many options: hood, bands, long sleeve, short sleeve, banded, all kinds of options, and it is such an awesome scrap buster. I love it. Last night I went through all my scraps and I pulled out some of my favorites and I put them all together, different stripes and black and white, because I'm gonna stay with black and white for this one. I'm super excited. I can't wait to make it. And all the tester pictures look amazing. So I know you're all gonna rock it. I can't wait to see what you create with this pattern. But before I get started, let me remind you about our fun fan giveaway of $50 Ellie and my gift certificate. And we get a winner every month. And all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and comment below, and you will be entered for our giveaway, a monthly giveaway. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I already cut out all my pattern pieces, and I'll tell you the front, to give you a little bit of advice on the front. The front is almost like a little puzzle, and it kind of looks a little hard, but it really isn't. Once I cut out all my pattern pieces, I went ahead and put them, you gotta make sure that you cut your pattern pieces all face up and they're all the right way, all face up, one piece for the front, because that is how you're going to piece them together once you go to sew it together. So what I did first is I cut out my pattern pieces, and then I laid them out, like I made the puzzle. I laid them out on my mat just exactly how they're supposed to go. And on your instructions, there's a exact picture of how it's going to look. And then I laid them out, and then I grabbed my fabrics that I thought I was gonna use, and I put them on top of each pattern piece just to see how it was gonna flow. And when I was exactly happy with the look, then I went ahead and cut out each piece with the corresponding letter. They are lettered, so like piece A, piece B, piece C, all that stuff. So then when you go to make it, you don't get as confused when you're like, ooh, what was this? What was that? And then what I also did is I pinned my pattern piece to my fabric. That way, when I go to piece it together, it's a lot easier. They're all together. I just gotta grab the letter that I need. So let's go ahead and get started, and we can do this together. Super fun, super quick, super cute. All right, we're gonna start with pieces C and D. So I'm gonna put piece C and D right side up, like you see them right here. And I'm gonna line them up at the raw edge, the straight raw edge right here. As you can see, the side of piece C kind of goes around, like giving that shape. That's what gives it the hourglass shape right here. That's gonna be the side. And then, so this right side right here, the top of C, the left side of D, the top of D, the left side of C, and we're gonna go ahead and grab it, and then we're gonna put it right sides together, like so. So honestly, what we're essentially doing is putting this puzzle piece, all these puzzle pieces together to create one big front panel puzzle, yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and pin. I am going to be using my serger, but any stretch stitch on your sewing machine will do. Today I'm using double brush poly and cotton lycra for my hoodie because I just use scraps. You can use any kind of any kind of four-way stretch. You can use it French terry, that works. I saw some people make it with, I think somebody made it with scuba actually. You can look on our Facebook page, and we have a lookbook. You can go back and look and see all the fabrics that our testers use and what size they made to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. And that is a really helpful resource. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go ahead and sew those together right there over at my serger. Once those are sewn together, remove the pin. We're gonna turn it around and steam that seam right there. And you can go over to your sewing machine, and if you want to, you can top stitch that seam down if you want to go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna top stitch because I like the look of top stitching on hoodies. All right, once those are top stitched, that was C and D, I'm going to grab them and put them face up again on my board, and I'm grabbing E right here, and I'm going to face it. This is the bottom one. So it's gonna go, you're gonna place it where it belongs, right on top, and then you're going to flip it. You're gonna flip it up again, and we're gonna sew those raw edges at the bottom raw edge. I'm gonna go ahead and pin it and sew it, and then I'm gonna turn it, steam it, and top stitch it, just like I did with C and D. All right, I put that set aside. Now we're going with pieces A and B. And you can't really tell, you can really tell on the other ones, but on this one, I am always doing right sides together. So the right side of my fabric is touching the right side of my other fabric. So I hope that you have been able to see that as I'm working on these, this piece. So here is, the A and B, and as you can see, when you're gonna put it together, it creates this arm side. So see that arm side right there? So make sure that this piece is matching up with the arm side. If at any time you don't remember which side goes with which, grab your pattern piece and put it on top and make sure they match up as you're doing the next step. So I'm gonna grab it and tilt it up over that right there and do the exact same thing, sewing and top stitching. Here we are to our last puzzle piece. This is the big puzzle piece. Here's my other big puzzle piece. We put it right sides together again, like so. And then we're gonna flip it over and put it together on that long side. Remember that this is the part that's gonna create the arm side, so you need to make sure that that's leveled with it. And we're gonna go right sides together again. Same thing that I did with the other pieces, sewing together, steaming, top stitching. All right, we're gonna put that bodice aside and we're gonna work on our arm stripes. Now, if you are not doing the stripes on the arm, you don't need to worry about this part, obviously. But if you are, you're gonna prep them by folding down at the top and at the bottom, folding in towards the wrong side. And we're going to get them ready for pinning on the bodice. And you can use your pattern piece to help you if you wanna fold them in already on the pattern piece and then fold them over your pattern piece. Then you're gonna open them back up, and I'm going to grab and some interfacing. And how I cut my interfacing is I grabbed my pattern piece again and I folded it 2 ends in, and then I cut my pattern piece that size, and I'm going to steam that interfacing right in the middle and make sure that my 2 sides come right back, because when I sew it onto my sleeve, whew, that's hot. When I sew it onto my sleeve, I want the sides to be in. So I'm gonna sew it just like so. Okay, I'm gonna do that for all of my stripes. All right, now I'm gonna show you how we're going to attach them to our sleeves. All right, so now I'm gonna grab it, and I have them separate, like first stripe, second stripe. And I am going to grab my sleeve and put it right side up on my mat. There we go. Figure out which one's the right side. Put it right side up on my mat. And I'm going to put my pattern piece right on top of my sleeve. And I am going to match up. So here's my first one. First stripe goes right up here. And then my second stripe right here. Okay. And once that's matched up, I'm gonna move my pattern piece and I'm going to pin it to my sleeve. I don't even know why I went with so much stripes because it's gonna show every mistake, but that's okay. That's okay. I like a challenge. It'll be good. I'm excited about it. So we're gonna do the same for the other sleeve. Then I am going to use my cover stitch. Ooh, I can already see this right here. It's gonna drive me insane. I'm gonna go over to my cover stitch and top stitch this on. So I'm gonna stitch on both sides. Shoop, shoop. I think it's a 1/4 inch in, really. You're just trapping that folded over edge in there. And I'm gonna do the same for both sleeves. So this is one sleeve. I'm gonna do the same for the other one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch. If you don't have a cover stitch, zigzag stitch will work. It will be perfection, or double needle, or any kind of stretch stitch on the sleeve. So let's do it. Let's go over to the sewing machine. All right, our sleeves are top stitched and prepped. And now we're gonna grab our back, and it's cut into 2 pieces. It's a mirrored cut. And right now I already have them right sides together at that raw edge, the back, the straight back edge, not the one that has the arm size, but the back edge. And I'm going to sew it together right here at that raw edge. The reason why it's cut in 2 is because we know that having your back does not go straight. You have that little dip in your back, and having 2 pieces allows you to be able to have a little bit of more of a shape to your back. So it looks much better when it's a 2-piece on the back than doing it just on the fold. So it looks really good. So we're gonna go ahead and sew that up. All right, once that is sewn together, you can open it up and steam it. I always like to steam it so it'll go the same way, the whole seam. It gives it a better look, a more straight seam look. If you want to go ahead and top stitch, you can go ahead and top stitch that. I'm not going to because it's just the back and I don't think it needs to be. So I'm not gonna do it because, you know, that's just extra work. And you know me, I'm not gonna go and do something that doesn't really need to be done. I'm kind of lazy that way. So now I'm putting my back face up on my board, and I'm gonna grab our front, our beautiful, beautiful put together front. Oh my word, look at that. That's gonna be so cool. And I'm gonna put it right sides together at the shoulder seams first. I'm gonna pin those shoulder seams, and then we're gonna go over to our machine and sew them right quick. Now that those shoulder seams are together, we're gonna open it up, and here's our arm side. We're gonna grab our sleeves, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find our top. So we're gonna fold those sleeves in half, and I like to notch my sleeve. So like I like to make a little clip right at the top. It's just big enough for me to see it, but once I sew it on, you won't be able to see it, but that gives me a marking on where I want my sleeve to be placed. I'm gonna grab the right side of my sleeve and touch the right side of my top, and I'm going to go along the raw edge, right sides together, meeting first that half point, and then going all the way down to one side, and then all the way down to the other side. And I'm gonna do that for both sleeves, and then I'm gonna go back on my serger and sew them together, or zigzag stitch them together if you're using a sewing machine. Let's sew. Sleeves are on. We're gonna go ahead and turn it right sides together again, and we're gonna sew those side seams. We're just gonna match up all those sides and all the way down the side and down the sleeve, right sides together, and sew them up. Make sure you match up your stripes right here. When you get to the part where the stripes are, make sure you put them right on top of each other and you match them up. Good luck with that, because I am the worst at matching up stripes and stuff like that. So yes. And I'm gonna do the same for both sides. Let's go ahead and sew it. Alrighty, once you have finished sewing those sides together, you are done with your bodice for now. We'll come back and do our cuffs and band in a little bit. And if you are doing, this would look so cute even without a hood, honestly. This is super cute. If you're doing a neckband, right now you would move on to do the neckband, and you can see we have other tutorials on how to do your neckband. If you need help with your neckband, we have a couple on tips and tricks on the tips and tricks section of our YouTube channel. You can do that, but I'm going to go ahead and go on and do my hood. I'm going to do hood on this one. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to grab my hood. Here's my outer. This is my outer piece for my hood, 2 outers. And I'm going to grab the right side, and what we're going to do is we're going to mark where our, the wrong side. And we're going to mark where our grommets are going to go, where our patches are going to go. So this is going to be on my left side. So I'm going to put this over here, and here it has the left side crossover. You can go ahead and mark that. I'm going to grab my put them over here. What I did is I cut out the little pieces where the patches are, and so now I've got like a little template, and I went ahead and used that to cut out my interfacing. So I got my interfacing right here, and then I did the same thing to cut out my actual patches. So I'm going to put my interfacing to the wrong side, so I'm putting it right there where that is, and that's my wrong side of my pattern piece. And I'm just going to turn it around, and I'm going to grab my pattern piece again, and I'm going to put my patch on the right side, because that's where I'm going to sew it. I'm going to sew it to the right side. So you can either mark the pattern piece, your hood, or you can just go ahead and do what I just did, and then you have the patch on the front and the interfacing on the back. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, and then we'll sew them together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our sewing machine, and we're actually going to top stitch around that patch to attach it to our hood, and we're going to do the same to both. Now, some people, probably the smarter kind, would grab some either fabric glue on some fabric tape and glue that patch on, or tape it on, so that way it's easier to sew. But you know what? I'm just going for it because that's the type of person I am, and I hope I don't regret it. I'm just going really close to the edge, like an 1/8 from the seam, and I'm just going all the way around that square and attaching it to my hood. Now, if you wanted to, sometimes what I've done before, and I think I'm going to do it again just for the heck of it, is I'll go like an X. Though, really, I don't know why I'm doing that, because I'm going to open it right there in the middle. That's where I'm going to place my grommet. I just think I like it, so I'm just going to do it. X marks the spot where the grommet will go. So there it is. Then I'm going to go ahead and trim all around the hair's thread, I guess. And my patch is put on. I'm going to do the same for the other one. Here we are, one of my favorite time spots, whatever you call it. We're putting grommets on, and I love grommets. I really do. They are so fun. So what we're going to do is I have my X marks the spot right there. Remember I told you I just made like an X right there. So I'm going to grab just a tool, usually an owl, but I don't have, I have one, but I have no idea where it went, because it came with a kit I got before for these guys, but I don't know where it went. So I'm just using this little weeding tool from my Cricut. Anyway, and I don't know where my little scissors went, so I'm using also my Cricut little scissors. And I'm just gonna open a little bit. These won't work. These are for, not for fabric. So I'm just gonna use my regular scissors and just be very careful. I'm just making a small hole, just big enough for my grommet to fit into it. Now, you know, you just have to go with what your grommet tells you to do, your grommet set, whatever set you have. I just have one of those that you just use your little hammer with and you like beat the heck out of it. So I like it. And we're gonna grab our front of our grommet and we're gonna put it right through that hole. So you wanna make the hole big enough that it's gonna fit your grommet. So I'm gonna have to kind of trim it around like a little circle. This is so nerve-wracking. It really isn't that bad, but you don't want to make it too big so that you grommet doesn't grab something. I think that this is my front right here. All right, so now when your grommet is in there on the one side, we're gonna grab and put it, here's my back. Let me make sure this is my back. I don't even know what I'm doing. Did I grab the right one? That looks like a front. I think this is a back. Why am I doing this? Front. I'm gonna place it right on top of that little piece that comes with it. And I'm gonna grab my back, put it right on top. And then I'm gonna grab my other little piece, put it right on top of that, and then I'm gonna grab my hammer and bam, blam, blam, blam. Now I'm not gonna do it here because of the fact that this is my ironing board and it would break, but that right there would be my grommet would be on. I'm gonna go ahead and do it over there somewhere else where I have a sturdy surface and I don't break my ironing board, but I'm gonna do the same for both. So actually, see, it's not very hard. It's super easy. All right, once my grommet is on and in there, look how cute that's going to be. We're going to work on our strap. So how we're doing that is you can grab, you can do cording, you can do it however you want to, but one of the options that we have is you can grab pieces of the same fabric that you did, what do you call it? Your front with, you know, like I've got this one and this one and a black one. And I cut them on the pattern piece. It gives you a cutting, it's 20 by 20 length by an inch wide. And you're going to cut 3 strips and you're going to grab them and place them like on top of each other at one end. And then you can fold and go ahead and baste them together. I'm just going to pin them for now. But you can baste them on the sewing machine or whatever. I'm gonna pin them to my ironing board because it makes it easier for me to braid. And now I'm gonna go ahead and braid it. So I'm just braiding, and I know it's so aggravating. Some of my straps will turn inside out. As you can see, you can really see the inside out part of that. But I don't mind because it kind of looks like gray. You can't really tell. So I don't mind that, but if you do and you want it to be right side out, what you can do is before you do this, you can steam them wrong sides together, I'm sorry. So you can create like a crease so that they, you know, kind of fold more to the right side. And I think that will help. So maybe I'll go ahead and do that and see if it helps. Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe that will help. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't care. But let me go ahead and try it for some of you who really do care. And then I just continue to braid. See? Much better. And braiding really is just, you go with one over the other. Let me tilt you up a little bit so you can really see it. I'm grabbing my 3 pieces. I'm going under each other. They go under one piece. This one goes to the front. This one goes under it. Front, you can do it like that, or you can do the over. I'm just doing under right now. And going all the way down to the end. It turned itself over again because I wasn't paying attention. It's all right. When I get to the end, I'm going to go ahead and tie it off at the end. It's just a knot. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trim them so they're all the same length. And for more of a scrappy look, you can go ahead and cut them like down the middle or into little strips. So it just has like more of more character. How cute is that? Then I'm gonna go ahead and grab this up here. Yours will probably be basted because I just went with it. And I'm gonna fit it right through my grommet. And then once I do that, I'm gonna go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew over that top, just sew back and forth right here a couple times. I'm gonna make it the same color thread as my hood, so black. That way you can't even see it sewn on, and there is my strap is onto my hood. Once I sewed that back, I went ahead and trimmed close to where that seam is right there where I sewed. Don't cut the thread, just cut close, and there it is. Now I'm gonna grab my hood and I'm gonna put my outers, both outers, right sides together on top of each other. And I'm going to sew around the crown, put that crown together. So right out the outer, right sides together. Make sure you don't catch your straps or anything when you're sewing this, doing this step. We're gonna sew around the crown of the outer, and then we're gonna do the same thing, right sides together for the liner, sew that crown. So I'm gonna pin them both, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sew them both on my serger. Let's sew. Once you have done the sewn around the crown, we're gonna grab our hood, we're gonna turn one right side out and the other one inside out, and we're gonna fit them right sides together right here at that seam. This is the top seam. And then we're gonna go down one side, meeting those raw edges, again, right sides together. And then we'll go down the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and match those raw edges. Then I'm gonna go with my serger or my sewing machine, and I'm gonna sew all the way up that side, up the front, all the way down the face front. Not the bottom where the neck goes, just around the face. Once my hood is sewn together, I'm gonna turn it right side out. And then I'm gonna go back and top stitch, oops, remove the pins. You don't want to leave any pins in there. And then we're going to go back, and if you want to, you don't have to, but I'm going to, you can go ahead and top stitch all the way around that outer edge of your hood. So I'm going to go ahead and top stitch, and then we'll attach it to our bodice. All right, top stitched. I love it when there's a little trim showing, especially if it's a different color liner. So I usually will top stitch it with just a little rim showing all the way around. That's just what I like to do. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our hood, and we're gonna baste it together first for that overlap. So I'm going to grab it, and see here, it's going to go 4 inches from here to the next place, which means it's gonna be a total of, 8 inches overlap. So I'm gonna grab it, see right here's my one end, and here's my other end, and I'm gonna measure out 8 inches, just a little bit less, okay, 8 inches from where of overlap. So if you go right here, you can see a little bit of my, this is my one side that comes in, and I'm overlapping the other side, and I'm gonna measure from this edge to the other edge. I kind of poked it out a little bit right here so I can see it, and it's gonna be an 8-inch overlap. So now I got too much overlap again because I opened it and closed it back up, and it's gonna be 8 inches, okay? And then now I'm going to, that I measured 8 inches, I'm gonna make sure that it is together, and I'm going to pin right here, and I'm going to go to my sewing machine and baste that hood together. Now, you're only going to baste that front part. Don't baste the back to it, just the front. You're gonna baste that bottom together, so that way when you go to sew it, it's much easier to sew on because it's already kind of like a neckband on the round. Now that it's been basted, I'm gonna measure again. That was 8 inches of overlap, as you can see, from the start to the end. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and quarter my hood and my bodice. So this seam on the back is my half, and then I'm gonna go to the front, and this is my other half. I'm gonna quarter it, and I'm gonna pin it because I'll need a pin anyway. And then I'm gonna go from the front to the sides. 1, 2. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my bodice and do the same thing. I have that seam on the back, that's my back, and then my front. Then I'm gonna match my front and back, and I'm going to the sides because my shoulder seams are not my quarters. All right, and this is also how you would attach your neckband if you were attaching a neckband. I'm gonna turn my bodice inside out, because that makes it a little bit easier to attach. Ooh, I'm so excited about this. And I'm gonna grab my hood and fit it right sides together, right side under, inside my hood. So the right sides are touching. And the front seam, I'm gonna match that front with the front. And then my sides. Make sure you're matching both your outer and a liner, because both of them need to get attached to the bodice, right sides together. And then all those 3 seams, and then that other side seam, side quarter. Here it is. Then I'm gonna go all the way around and sew that hood right on. All right, I'm gonna start on the back, and I'm going to make sure that they're lined up, and I'm gonna go to my quarter point right here where I pinned it, and I'm going to sew. Making sure that they're all even, and then I'm just gonna keep going all the way around. All finished sewing that hood on, and it's already looking amazing. I guess I better pull my sleeves out so you can really see what it's looking like. You can go ahead and pull off that basting stitch that you created, and it is super cute. I am loving it. This is gonna be definitely one of those that I wear all the time. So now we're gonna go ahead and do our bands, cuff and waistband. And because these are kind of similar, I'm gonna do them both at the same time and show you what you're supposed to be doing. I'm gonna grab my front, I'm gonna grab all of them. I have my waistband is cut into 2 different pieces, and my sleeve cuffs are 2 cuffs, right? So I'm gonna fold them wrong sides together first at the long ways, because I want to give them a memory crease first, and that's why I'm gonna do that. No other reason except for I feel like it makes it easier to sew together once I've done that, once I've done the giving them a memory crease. So I'm gonna do that for all of them, wrong sides together, and just giving them that memory crease. All right, once they all have a memory crease, I'm gonna grab my band, waistband, I'm gonna put them right sides together, and I'm going to sew those raw edges to create one long waistband. Okay. And then for the armbands, I'm going to grab them, open them up, I'm gonna fold them and actually sew them right sides together at the raw edge. for both of them. And then I'm gonna go over to my serger or my sewing machine, if you're using a sewing machine, and sew those edges together for all of them. Now we're going to go ahead and fold our waistband wrong sides together on that memory crease that we created earlier. That's when it comes in handy. It makes it a lot easier to turn and fold when you have that memory fold. And we're going to steam it, meeting those raw edges at the top. Okay, and we're gonna quarter our band. We're gonna do the same thing for our armbands. Fold them wrong sides together over that where we created that seam, that fold already. So again, it makes it so much easier to fold when you have that. To me, at least it does. It's not a needed step, but I always like to do it. So this one is already raw edges together. Then we're gonna go ahead and quarter, and like I said, I like to do my quarter points by notching. So we go to the back, pin, to the front, and then match up the back and the front, and go to the sides. One side, other side. Okay, and we're going to do that for both cuffs and for our waistband. We already have a front and our sides because our seams are our sides. And we're going to match the side seams together, and we're going to go to the front and the back. All right, and then now we're going to go ahead and attach it to our actual hood. For our sleeve, we can go ahead and quarter our sleeve as well. I usually, I quartered it, but I usually only half it, front and back. Now you can fit the cuff inside or you can fit it over. If you're fit, all you gotta do is make sure that it's right sides together. So the right side of the cuff is gotta face the right side of the sleeve. So we're pinning at those quarters or halves. And when we sew it, we're going to stretch out our cuff to match those quarter points. Because you can see our sleeve is a little bit bigger than our cuff. So you'll stretch out and sew all the way around on that one. And I'm gonna do the same for the other cuff. And then for the waistband, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna fit our waistband in. Those seams are your side seams, right sides together. So the right side of the waistband is touching the right side of the hood. I like to get rid of all these serger tails because they're gonna get sewn in anyway. So I'm not worried about them unraveling. So that back seam. And that side seam. And once we do all this, we will be done. We're gonna finish attaching these, and then I'm gonna go over to my serger and attach them, and that's it. All right, all sewn together. And if you were watching me sew my band, you noticed that my seam allowance was a little bit bigger than it's supposed to be. That is because my fabric kept rolling and it just went right on there, so I went with it. That's fine. So anyway, cuffs are done, waistband is done, and my hoodie is completed, and I am in love. I can't wait to see all the hoodies that you're going to make. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Show me your hoodies on our Facebook or Instagram page. Come join us. The info is below. Please remember to comment so you can be entered for a giveaway for this month. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.